Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it's Saturday, March 7th, and I do want to give a shout out to my friend Heather H. from Houston. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Heather. Alright, that's it. That's all for my little announcements there. So, listen, I want to let you know what happened last night because apparently I uploaded it and there was no sound. Well, it was a cat-related problem, so I guess that's probably all of the explanation that I need to give you, and I'm sure all of you know exactly what I mean. All right, and the other problem is that the new thing with YouTube seems to be just letting you upload your video, and then it sits there saying that it hasn't been processed. But now if you go to the link that only you can see because it's not made public, then the video's there perfectly fine, but YouTube just says it's processing. That's what happened the other night when I uploaded something and then, you know, it didn't get uploaded until the next morning sometime. So that is what the problem is. So if my video takes a long time, or if I say it's such and such a time, and then it's like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours later that you see it, that's what happened. Anyway, what we're going to be doing tonight, I did promise you that I was going to do the Somerset Belanoff, and so we are going to do that, but not in this video. That will be in the second video. We're going to finish that, but first I'm going to hit on the news. I do have 3 videos prepared tonight, but I know I won't make it through all 3 because 2 of them are quite, you know, voluminous in nature. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get through some of the news. This will be a little bit of a shorter video. Then I'm going to, while this is uploading, I'm going to do the last installment of Belanoff, the Glamis Calling. So here we go. Let's start here, and I do have a few people to thank. The following coffee donors, and thank you so much. I really appreciate all the donations, the prayers, all the comments and everything. I really do appreciate it. And Patreon supporters, can't do this without y'all, so thank you. And the following, Anon, Bobby Garner. Now, Bobby Garner has been a listener for a very, very long time, I think since pretty close to the beginning. And Leah Schaub, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm not the greatest with names. You probably already know that. And Diana Sullick. Mia in North Carolina. I used to live in North Carolina, Mia. It's a great place. I used to live up in the mountains and in Charlotte. That's the first place I moved to in the States, Charlotte. Ellie Bressner, Carrie, and Ginger. Thank you guys so much. Your gifts and donations are put to very good use. So thank you very, very much. All right, and let's get into this. Now, these are things that I already brought you yesterday, but you don't know that I brought them to you yesterday because, well, you couldn't hear it. So most of these things, some of them are new, but a lot of them are from yesterday, which, you know, you should have gotten then. All right, now let's take a look at this from Donald J. Trump, my favorite president and yours. As per recent federal court ruling, the federal government will be withholding funds from sanctuary cities. They should change their status and go non-sanctuary. Do not protect criminals. Now, this is really good news, I think, to just about every decent American citizen there is, because really, we know the big, well, I don't know what word to use. The word that I thought to use is not a very nice word to use, but yeah, it's been a disaster, basically. It hasn't worked at all. And I think that this is wonderful that Donald Trump is standing up. I don't know of any other man with big enough kahunas to do that, because really, why has nobody else taken a stand? I guess they were too busy destroying America to care. So anyway, now let's get to this. This is very good news, and it shows you how smart Donald Trump really is, and he is. So let's take a look at this exclusive. Energy Secretary Dan Brouillette, President Trump has made America energy independent. Now, maybe some of you will go, nah, so, yeah, well, the thing is, I think we're going to see how valuable this will be in the next maybe year, 2 years. We're going to see how absolutely fundamental that move was, because now we don't have to depend on other countries for our energy needs. We've got enough energy in the country to, cover our own needs as a country, and more so. And we've got a diverse amount. It's not just one type of energy. So let me show you this, because really we would not be sitting here if it were not for Donald Trump. President Donald Trump has achieved energy independence for the United States. His Energy Secretary, Dan Brouillette, told Breitbart News for an exclusive interview at the Conservative Political Action Committee conference this weekend. That is the Conservative Political Action Conference. I always want to call it a committee, and it's not, it's a conference. The interview, which aired Tuesday on Breitbart News Daily on Sirius XM 125, the Patriot channel, focused on the Trump administration's success on energy, the environment, and the economy. Back in the 1970s, when I was growing up, we were dependent on nations that did not have our interests at heart, Brouillette told Breitbart News. I remember distinctively growing up in South Louisiana, sitting in a gas line with my father, wondering why we were waiting in line for gas. We were from Louisiana, an oil-producing state. How could this be? We have moved from that to the world's #1 producer of oil and #1 producer of gas, and we're the second largest producer of renewable energy in the world today. So it's a phenomenal success story, and what does that mean? Well, obviously it means, as the president reported, a good economy, a strong economy. These jobs that are being created in this energy industry all across the world, but importantly, it also means that he has options in the foreign policy space that did not exist in the 70s or 60s or even just 2 decades ago. For instance, he can now move an embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and not have to look over his shoulder, not have to worry what that means for gas prices in America, because America is energy independent, Brouillette said. Trump can make decisive decisions without worrying about ruffling feathers around the world. That is important. When other countries hold bargaining chips, then we have to cave to their desires. So the fact that we are energy independent is huge. He can take decisive actions and go after the Soleimanis of the world without having to worry about what that means for our energy supply to America, Brouillette said. It's an exciting time, and it continues to grow. Brouillette in the interview also made the case against socialism. President Trump has promised in his various State of the Union addresses that America will never become a socialist country. Brouillette, in his Breitbart News exclusive interview, said that socialism would harm the country significantly when it comes to energy. All you have to do is look at Venezuela, Brouillette said, when asked to make the case against socialism, since CPAC theme was America versus socialism. Look down south and see what's happening in Venezuela, Brouillette said. A very energy-rich nation, a very beautiful country, a rich country steeped in resources, and it's gone from that to what it is today, which is basically a complete collapse of their economy. There are important lessons to learn there for America. It's the fundamental difference between the Trump administration policy, one that is built on energy diversity. We're going to produce fossil fuels. We're going to produce renewable energy. We're going to produce nuclear energy. It's a fundamentally different approach to what you see in a socialist nation. Brouillette added that unlike socialist nations, the Trump administration and the United States value human innovation, whereas socialists do not. We mentioned Venezuela and socialism earlier, Brouillette said. They don't think of their people as very important, if you will, or as assets. It's fundamentally different here in the United States. The beauty of our approach is that we recognize the human innovation, the talents that Americans and humans bring to these energy issues. If you think about it a little philosophically, oil is what? Oil is nothing more than a dirty liquid in the ground. It doesn't have value as resource until we apply our human talent to it and our human innovation to it, and we use it as energy. That's what we do in America. So very well. It's what socialist countries don't do at all. They treat these resources as resources available to the government and not to the people, and it's just a radically different approach than we have here in America. Brulette said that part of the success on energy in the Trump administration proceeds from a broader directive from the president to cut 2 regulations for every new one issued. Now, I'm not going to go into the rest of this because it is kind of lengthy, but well, there's still quite a bit to read there, and I think I'm going to stop there. What I basically wanted to be sure that you knew is that we are now considered energy independent, and that is very good news for America. All right, now let's go back and see what else we can get into here. And we're going to come here and we're going to look at this. Now I've kind of separated the one last night. The video that I did last night included a lot of the virus related material as well. I have separated that out to do a separate video on that later. I doubt I will get to it tonight. It will probably be tomorrow, but I will get these 2 videos done tonight for you. This one is purely news, and the other one is the conclusion of Glamis calling, who is Somerset Belanoff. All right, and here we go, the Bradford file. How is this real? Well, let's take a look. I know. Don't even say it. I know what you're thinking. All right, here. Now, let me make sure this is turned up, and here we go.
Turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump. Turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
We can only reelect Donald Trump. I think that was another Biden gaffe, a big one. We can only reelect Donald Trump. And that's exactly what the people are going to do, Mr. Biden. That's exactly what we're going to do. Thanks. Thanks for giving us the permission to do that. Yeah. Okay. And let's go back. There's more. All right. Let's look at this. Yeah, I think you'll find this pretty fascinating, and it's today's news, so it's hot and fresh. All right, Soros-backed groups give 7-figure campaign donations to re-elect crooked Kim Foxx, you know, of Jussie Smollett fame, who dropped all charges against hoaxer Jussie Smollett. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, I had to just take a look at my cat over there that's lying there like he's dead, but of course he isn't. His paws are still moving. All right. Okay. Hollywood washed-up actor Jussie Smollett was let off by the corrupt Cook County State's Attorney's Office last year after his vicious stunt to smear Trump supporters as homophobic racists backfired. Smollett was later recharged with 6 counts related to the alleged hate hoax in February 2020. In April 2019, Chicago authorities released text messages from corrupt state's attorney Kim Foxx. The messages revealed that Kim Foxx continued to intervene in the case in support of Smollett after she recused herself. Chicago reporter Charlie Del Mar posted the messages on his Twitter feed. And it says, Charlie DeMar, I'm not really sure what he's alluding to here. Okay, I'm seeing text messages from State Attorney Kim Foxx to staff about 2 weeks before charges were dropped on Jussie Smollett refers to Smollett as a washed-up celeb who lied to cops. And it said, so I'm recused, but when people accuse us of overcharging cases, 16 counts on a class 4 becomes Exhibit A. Think it's indicative of something we should be looking at generally. Just because we can charge something doesn't mean we should. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but let's go back here. All right. It is clear that Kim Foxx lied about her interference in the Smollett case, but despite her corrupt background, Kim Foxx is running for re-election, and she is receiving a huge boost from Soros organizations. Well, who else would support her? Really? Excuse me, I had to have some lovely brown cancer-causing liquid. All right. Anti-American billionaire George Soros reportedly gave seven-figure campaign donations to re-elect Kim Foxx, the Chicago prosecutor who decided to drop all charges against accused hate hoaxer, that's hard to say for me for some reason, hate hoaxer, Jussie Smollett. Foxx is running to return to her office as state attorney for Cook County, and it's reported that she's benefited from a political PAC named the Illinois Justice and Public Safety PAC, which helped her run a six-figure ad campaign. Turns out that the PAC's entire $2 million budget came from one of the many activist groups stealthily funded by Soros, according to the Washington Free Beacon. The Soros funding came as part of the billionaire's effort to put radical leftists into county attorney and prosecutor offices all across the country. And Fox has been part of the Soros plan for years already. She received $408,000 from the foreign billionaire when she first ran for office in 2016. Fox was widely criticized for her controversial decision to drop charges of lying about a hate crime lodged against TV actor Jussie Smollett. Despite that, the Chicago police and grand jury recommended that he be prosecuted. Even the city's left-wing mayor vowed to hold the actor accountable for his actions. Well, at least somebody has some sense, but not Kim Foxx. No. Yeah, it figures that she's being backed by Soros. Absolutely. She's a piece of work. All right, let's go back. And let's go on. And I just love me some Eric Trump because, you know, those Trump boys, now you don't see it too much from Ivanka. And in fact, I don't believe I've ever seen her troll, but Eric and Don Jr. and President Trump, they are trolls. They are the cream of the crop of the trolls. Yes, they are. They have it down. Anyway, this is a picture of Elizabeth Warren. It's a meme. It says, "I will beat Donald Trump, Elizabeth Warren." And Eric Trump posted that and said, "Too soon," because of course she's dropped out now and she's not going to be beating anybody. All right. Okay, let's go on now. This is a little bit horrifying. Yeah. Hang on here. So it says California to remove homosexual child rapists from the sex offender registry if they are not more than 10 years older than their victim. So I guess if you are 19 and you're sleeping with a 10-year-old, well, then you won't get added to the, the sex offender registry because you're less than 10 years older than your victim. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Sure. When we talk about any sanctuary state, we can't be surprised by the news. But when we talk about California, they lead the pack. Oh, isn't that the truth? Hollywood, drugs, illegals, feces on the streets, and sexual predators. These are some of the things we have in California, but it seems they don't intend to change. A bill called the LGBTQ, Young People Non-Discrimination in the Sex Offender Registry Act, literally deletes the most vulnerable population, children, from the list of potential victims of homosexual sex offenders. Under the registry, a 24-year-old grown man would be able to sodomize a 14-year-old boy and claim it was consensual. Of course, 14-year-old children cannot consent to sodomy or vote, smoke, drink, drive, sign contracts, and so on because they're children. Reports Freedom Project Media. Also, according to this bill, the last word is left to the judge who will decide whether to remain a homosexual child molester in the list of threats to children or not. Given the fact that most of the judges in California are liberal, we know what we can expect from them. Although the bill has not yet been passed, this does not stop transgender people and transvestites who are at the same time convicted sex offenders from continuing to promote promiscuous sexual intercourse among children through the drag queen story hour, in which they constantly act as speakers, people of non-traditional sexual orientation, and concurrently convicted sex offenders. Beneficial to representatives of sexual minorities try to okay, this person can't write. But among the California authorities, there were those who blocked the new law, thereby causing the anger of the LGBT community. No sex between a 24 and 14-year-old is consensual, explained Assemblyman Lorena Gonzalez. So to summarize, California wants to exempt LGBT child rapists from sex offender registry if they are not more than 10 years older than victim. Let's do the math. Rape a 1-year-old at age 11 and pass, or any who are older than the given rape age. Rape a 2-year-old at age 12, pass. 3-year-old at age 13. Okay, I think we get the drift here. Yeah, so there you go. This is so poorly written that I don't want to dwell on it, but at least we get the idea. Okay, now let's look at this. Why, you say? Because we can. Why not? Pentagon sends troops to California border amid fears of border rush. Yep, here we go again. The government is sending 160 soldiers to help border agents block the migrant surge that is expected if the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal strikes down the migrant protection protocols. The MPP program has sent roughly 60,000 migrants back into Mexico prior to their eventual asylum hearing in the United States. The return policy deters migration by preventing migrants from getting the U.S. jobs they need to repay their smuggling loans unless they eventually win their backlogged courtroom claims. Some of the 30,000 migrants waiting in Mexico rushed for the border February 28 when the court declared the MPP program to be illegal. The court then quickly put a stay on the decision to block the MPP until March 12th, pending any Supreme Court intervention. The California-based court also decided to allow the MPP program to operate in Texas. Officials at the Department of Justice have asked the Supreme Court to extend the delay. Administration officials are sending the troops to the border out of fear the migrants will try to overwhelm the border defenses on March 12th. Officials also said that extra troops could help prevent the migration of people with diseases such as COVID-19 disease from China. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, agency's mission is to secure our nation's border, and measures such as crisis response, force employment, allow CBP to do just that, a senior agency official told reporters March 6. He continued, based on the pending MPP decision, continued concerns of large groups attempting to forcibly enter through ports of entry, and COVID-19 containment and mitigation concerns, CBP has activated the Crisis Response Force. The Crisis Response Force will provide military police support, engineering support with aviation support to CBP. Approximately 160 active duty personnel will reposition from their CRS standby location at Fort Polk, Louisiana, Fort Polk, to the southwest border in support of CBP. Approximately 80 personnel will be deployed to POE and ports of entry in El Paso, Texas, and approximately 80 personnel will be supporting the San Ysidro port of entry in California. The CRF will remain at or adjacent to the selected, okay, we don't need to know all the operational stuff, but at least they are doing something to protect our borders, which is more than any other administration has done. So I am hoping, this is Acting Commissioner Mark Morgan, for the last 5 months, we are removing and returning more illegal migrants than those apprehended. We are also more effective and efficient at doing so, applying a consequence or pathway to 95% of those we apprehend. This is a game changer. So However, border agents have not stopped the flow of illegals nor the legal inflow of unaccompanied alien children. It's not alien children, as they have written here. It's alien. Typo, no doubt. In Washington, Congress continued to support the huge inflow of visa workers, including H-2B blue-collar workers, H-2A agricultural workers, and H-1B white-collar workers. Government data shows 1 million Indian contract workers get white-collar jobs in tech, banking, health, etc. The Indian hiring ignores many EEOC laws and is expanding amid government and media silence. It is a huge economic and career loss for U.S. college grads. I would agree with that. But anyway, there you go. Yeah, I don't see our border problems being over anytime soon. And you can see what's happening between Turkey and Greece, how they're trying to rush those borders and set fires, throw stones, do whatever they can. It's unbelievable. They are trying to flood Europe with migrants, and they are trying to flood America with migrants. Why do you think? That's why. Yeah, so much easier to bring the New World Order in when, you know, the nation is bogged down paying for all these illegals. All right, let's go back. Okay, and let's look at this. This is a little bit disconcerting, I guess, if you happen to live in Iran. Homosexuals in Iran are having, oh, gosh, I really hate ads. This is from the Jerusalem Post. Homosexuals in Iran are having sex reassignment surgery to avoid execution. According to reports within Iran, the country has about 4,000 sex reassignment surgeries every year in an attempt to purge homosexuality from the Islamic Republic. Not quite sure how that is purging anything, but hey, if they think it is. Life for gay men in Iran continues to be a psychological nightmare. In the Islamic Republic, homosexuality is illegal and punishments usually range anywhere from torture to public executions. The Iranian regime's treatment of transsexuals, however, seems on the surface to be a different matter altogether. Transsexuality was legalized in Iran in 1987, and the country has the second highest number of sex reassignment surgeries per year, second only to Thailand. Say what? Now, I would never have guessed that in a million years, really. However, in an interview with the British Sun newspaper, Iranian-born activist Shadi Amin claimed that the reason for the high number of SRSs in the sex reassignment surgeries in the country is not accepting as it may seem on paper. According to Amin, the Iranian government gives gay men the choice to go through the surgery in place of being tortured or executed. Gee, what a choice. Let me chop your hoo-ha off, or we could just torture you and execute you in public. You know, your choice. Boy, what a choice is that. In Iran, the regime believes that homosexuality is a disease that needs to be treated like any other, typically by physically changing a person's sex. Oh, and I missed this part. Amin says they would rather carry out mass surgeries than executions because they know the world is watching them. Yes, cutting off their male parts is just so much more civilized, isn't it? The government believes that if you are a gay man, your soul is that of a woman and you should change your body, Amin says. They think that this is a way to fight the existence of homosexual people because you change their body and you solve the problem. Yeah. Not the smartest, tools in the shed, really. I mean, the sharpest tools in the shed. There are no smart tools, only sharp tools in the shed. And dull tools, too. Yeah, like these people. Okay, according to various reports within Iran, they're about, I just read that. And I'm not going to read it again, and you can't make me. Okay. In the interview, she says that one doctor told her that he carries out 30 to 40 sex reassignment surgeries every month and up to 3 times per day, causing her to believe that this is big business for some doctors, despite many of them not being specialists in the field, but rather repurposed plastic surgeons. Following said surgery, the person is often shunned by both the country and their families, leaving them with no one to support them, which in turn often leads to a life of sex work and violence. Amin explains that while being in trans isn't considered a crime in Iran, there is nothing which criminalizes attacks against trans people in the country either. After the surgery, they have no rights anymore. There is no physiological support after the surgery. Peter Tatchell, a prominent British human rights campaigner, told The Sun that the men that agree to go through the surgery do so just so they won't be executed rather than from genuine desire to change. They don't want to be trans, but fear being hanged if they don't transition, he said. Tatchell also stated that Iran's policy of encouraging gender reassignment has nothing to do with supporting trans people. It is motivated by a desire to eradicate homosexuality and enforce traditional male and female gender norms. That's horrifying, really, that they think that they can just change someone from being, a man from being a homosexual by just, making him a woman. But there you go. All right. Let's go back. And let's look at this. Let's take a look at this. No, really. Let's just go ahead and look at it. Kevin McCarthy, Pelosi delayed coronavirus funding. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Oh, now I'm going to have to allow ads. Please. All right. Drives me crazy, people. Kevin McCarthy, Pelosi delayed coronavirus funding bill so Dems could run anti-GOP ads. That's right. Yeah. They are that deprived. They are. Not a moral bone in their body, not any conscience whatsoever at all, these people. So did I hear that right? The House of Representatives could have passed the coronavirus funding bill sooner, but Speaker Nancy Pelosi held it up because the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee wanted to run anti-GOP ads on Super Tuesday? Yes, you did hear that right. What a wonderful person. I'd love to have her for tea and crumpets and shove her head in the oven and turn on the gas. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. No, really, I didn't. Anyway, no, I'd never harm anybody. Just letting you all know that. I would never, ever harm a living soul. I may think about it, but I would never, ever do it. Elizabeth Vaughn over at Red State wrote about this. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy detailed this in his interview with Fox News' Laura Ingraham on Monday. What a scam. Speaker Pelosi held up the vote on coronavirus funding so that her campaign team could run ads against Republicans for Super Tuesday. Yeah. Instead of putting America first, she is putting politics first. You know what I say? The one that ripped up the speech? I say, sack the Ripper. Hashtag. Let's get that trending. Hashtag, sack the Ripper. She needs to be sacked. Speaking with Fox News, Laura Ingraham on Monday night, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said, look how much politics they want to play. The dirty little secret. We have the coronavirus. We need to fund this. You know what Nancy Pelosi, the speaker, did? She withheld the bill last week. You know why? So the DCCC could run ads against 7 Republicans. Ingraham asked how many people ran ads on the coronavirus fundraising appeals. I don't know how many ran, but they actually took the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, spent money, went into these 7 Republican seats to campaign against them about the coronavirus when she's the Speaker of the House. Instead of putting America first, she put her politics first and kept the bill from coming to the floor, McCarthy explained. My gosh, this woman is diabolically evil. Really. I mean, her and Hillary could be sisters. Evil twins. I agree with Vaughn that this isn't shocking. It's par for the course as the virus has become another venue from which the left can attack this White House. The coronavirus has infected some 100,000 people and killed 3,000, more than that. In the U.S., around a dozen people have died. Is it tragic? Yes. Is it worth the hysteria that has ensued? No. I would argue with that, but that's me. Anyway, as Democrats try to make Corona Trump's Katrina and paint the administration as incompetent, they disregard simple facts. One is that 40 to 70% of those infected are asymptomatic. Some of us have the virus right now and don't even know it. Second, and most importantly, and more importantly, this isn't some superbug here, folks. The U.S. sees, okay. Whenever I see people saying, well, this is like the flu, it makes me completely irate and crazy, because if you start looking at foreign newspapers, you're going to see the truth about this coronavirus, and it isn't going to be pretty. And you're going to say right away, oh, that's not the flu. Anyway, yeah, but what Nancy Pelosi did was unbelievable. The funding bill finally passed, and we know that, but yeah, good old Nancy tried to delay it because that's what she does, because she has no soul at all. She's more concerned about how she looks on the outside than the blackness of her own heart. I'm just saying. All right, let me go on now before I'm getting myself all worked up for nothing. Well, not really for nothing, but debatable. Okay. Now, let's look at this. Now, this is to do with the virus, but I don't know. I just wanted to cover it over here because this is news. It's not just news, it's news. Really? Saudi officials ban pilgrimages to Mecca over COVID-19. That is massive. It's, well, as President Trump would say, it's huge. It is. Tehran, Iran, the coronavirus outbreak disrupted Islamic worship in the Middle East as Saudi Arabia on Wednesday banned its citizens and other residents of the kingdom from performing the pilgrimage in Mecca, while Iran canceled Friday prayers in major cities. The decision in Riyadh and Tehran affect both Sunni and Shiite Muslims alike. The Saudi move expands a ban last week on foreigners visiting Mecca and Medina, home to the holiest sites in Islam. That decision alone disrupted travel for thousands of Muslims already headed to the kingdom and potentially affect plans later this year for millions more ahead of the fasting month of Ramadan and the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Even after the February 27th announcement, people already in Saudi Arabia could still travel to Mecca's Grand Mosque, where pilgrims circle the black cube-shaped Kaaba that Muslims around the world pray toward 5 times a day. The crowds were far smaller than usual before Wednesday's statement from an unidentified Interior Ministry official that was carried by the state-run Saudi press agency. Millions attend the annual Hajj, which this year is set for late July into early August, and many more visit the kingdom's holy sites year-round. Those other pilgrimages are referred to as the Umrah, which drew 7.5 million foreigners in 2019 alone. Now, this is huge because, to my understanding, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, every single Muslim has to visit this site at least once in their lifespan. And this is a big deal that they're canceling this. Huge. It remains unclear how the ban will be enforced. The government described the suspension as temporary, but gave no hint at when it will be lifted. The ban also appears to encompass the Prophet Muhammad's mosque in nearby Medina. The decision seeks to limit the spread of the COVID-19 epidemic and prevent its access to the 2 holy mosques, which are witnessing a permanent and intense flow of human crowds. Well, of course, the crowds are human. Yeah, that's what crowds mean. Crowds of human. You don't ever say, oh, look at that crowd of cows over there. Oh, there's a crowd of dogs over there. Nobody says that. Hey, look at the crowd of ducks. Nobody does that. It's humans. Crowds are human. Anyway, that's just, I hate that when people put qualifiers before words that don't need qualifiers. Of course we know the crowds are human. Anyway, I digress. Which makes the issue of securing these crowds of utmost importance, the Saudi government said. All right. So there's that. And let's go back. I better pick it up here because I still have another whole video to do. Yes, I do. And this is new. Well, as of yesterday. It's not hot and fresh, but it's still slightly warm and fresh. Yeah. Excuse me while I drink my lovely brown, well, caramel colored cancer-causing liquid here. It's delicious. You know, they say everything causes cancer. But I like to have me a cup of coffee every now and then. Yeah, go grab yourself one. Yeah, pull up a chair, put up your feet. Relax. I'll put the fire on. Okay. Saudi prince detains senior members of royal family. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has detained a brother of the king, a former crown prince, and a cousin, royals who may have been seen as threats to his rule. So, you know what? I'm not going to read all this. Why? Because I don't want to. Is that a good enough reason? I don't know. Yeah. Hearing very, very odd sounds. But I'm not sure what it is. Could be my phone in the other room. I don't know. I know you guys probably don't hear anything and you're saying, she's losing it. I don't hear anything. Do you? No. All right. Let's go back. Now, I'm going to, how much more do we have here? Oh my gosh, we got tons. Oh, woman's work is never done. Some of this I'm going to have to come back to. Now, let's look at this because it's interesting. And I like interesting things, and I think you do too. Well, AP Politics says a new report shows social media accounts linked to Russia have begun to disrupt this year's U.S. presidential race. The report found these accounts are posting about the same divisive issues, race, relation, gun, laws, and immigration, as in 2016. And just so you know, AP Politics, in 2016, it wasn't Russian bots. It was us. Yeah. I mean, I hate to break that to you, but there were no Russian bots. It was us. And you know what? It's still us. Still us. Yep. Sorry. It's the Patriots and the Q people and everybody that loves America. Yeah, no Russian bots. I'm just saying, no Russian bots. But Julian's Rom had to jump in here and say, we're all Russian bots again. Yeah. I guess, you know, I'm a patriot, but I identify as a Russian bot. Anyway, so let's come down here. I'm going to have to come back to a few of these things tomorrow because, you know, time's a ticking. It's ticking. Okay. And let's come down here. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. I'm going to have to save some of it for tomorrow. I'm sorry, but here's Charlie Kirk. Did you know? Well, no, Charlie Kirk, we didn't. Tell us. Republicans just joined with 42 Democrats to pass a bipartisan act to stop convicted terrorists and sexual predators from becoming TSA agents. That's great. 174 Democrats voted against it. That's awful. So, just so you know, 174 Democrats think it's perfectly fine to have convicted terrorists and sexual predators be TSA agents. Yeah, so now you know who's fondling you at the airports. Right. And guess who, among those 174 Democrats, voted against it? Well, you could probably guess without me even saying. AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and even House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer. Well, and this person says, why? Charlie Kirk says, why? Well, I guess they feel affinity for the convicted terrorists. Apparently. They think it's perfectly fine that they're TSA agents. And they do get a little gropey, if you ask me. Yes, they do. All right. Now, let's look at this now. Now, I had included this in yesterday's video, but it had no sound, so you couldn't hear me. Unless you speak, unless you can read lips. But in that case, you'd have to read hands too. Breaking, Romney will vote in favor of subpoena seeking Biden Burisma docs. Now, he had stated before that he wouldn't, but now he says he will. Who knows what's up with Mitts? Mitt Romney, a.k.a. Pierre Delecto, on Thursday pushed back on the burgeoning probe into Burisma, asserting the GOP senator's investigation into Biden Ukraine corruption appears political. Well, he'd say that naturally, wouldn't he? Because he's involved. However, Romney on Friday decided he will vote next week in favor of a subpoena seeking Biden Burisma docs. Romney's decision to vote in favor of subpoenas is surprising, given his top advisor, Joseph Cofer Black, joined the board of Burisma Holdings while Hunter Biden was also serving on the board. Conflict of interest much? The GOP only has an 8-6 edge in the committee, so Romney could have blocked the subpoena if he decided to vote against the Republicans, since a 7-7 tie is an automatic fail. And this from Chad Pergram. From colleague Jason Donner, Romney Spocks on issues Romney has with Biden investigation. Says Romney expressed his concerns to Chairman Johnson. Views will be in public. He will therefore vote to let the chairman proceed to obtain the documents that have been offered. Senator Ron Johnson told reporters on Wednesday that Senate Republicans are entering a new phase of their investigation into Joe and Hunter Biden and their ties to a corrupt Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma. Senator Johnson said he will likely release an interim report within the next month or two about his committee's probe into the Biden crime family, Politico reported. These are questions that Joe Biden has not adequately answered, Ron Johnson said, and if I were a Democrat primary voter, I'd want these questions satisfactorily answered before I cast my final vote. It was reported Tuesday, Senator Ron Johnson will be calling in somebody whose name I can't pronounce to testify in front of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. The person whose name I can't pronounce, instead of the name whose person I can't pronounce, which is what I said previously, worked as a political officer in the Ukraine embassy in Washington, D.C. in 2015 to 2016. The person whose name I can't pronounce spoke to the Gateway Pundit about the DNC Russia collusion scandal back in December 2018. Will Trump be the first president to be reelected after impeachment? Heck yeah! Anyway, the Gateway Pundit was the first publication to interview the man whose name I can't pronounce on his meetings with the DNC operative Alexander Chalupa. I don't know what it is with that name, but every time I hear that name, I get hungry. Chalupa. Oh, I want me a chalupa. I'm hungry. Well, I am. I like chalupas. Just saying. I do. Somebody could send me a chalupa. Don't. Because who knows what it would look like by the time it got here. It would look like something my cat threw up. Anyway, Chalupa, Alexander Chalupa, I digress. In the Obama White House back in 2016, Senators Johnson and Grassley have also requested Biden Burisma docs from the Treasury Department, State Department, and other agencies. So, yeah. And here it says Grassley and Johnson also stated that Joe Biden bragged about threatening to withhold $1 billion in aid from Ukraine if they didn't fire Victor Shokin, the prosecutor investigating Burisma. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired, Biden said, of Victor Shokin in 2018 to the Council on Foreign Relations, and I was just reading what was there. Okay. You know, I think I'm going to stop this because I'm starting to get silly, which happens to me when I get tired, and I still have another whole video to do, so I don't want to wear myself out on this one, or we'll never get to Somerset Belanoff. And, you know, I know y'all want me to get to that, because several of you have asked me about it. So, all right, let's go back here, and let's see what else I can hit on in the few minutes we have left. I love this. TV News headquarter, new TV ratings record. Last night's president, well, it wasn't last night now, but last night's president, Donald Trump town hall on Fox News was the most watched town hall in cable news history. Let me read that again. It was the most watched town hall in cable news history. Wow. Really, that's something. 4.2 million viewers. 744,000 viewers in the 25 to 54 age demographic. 1.5 million more viewers than any of the Democrat town halls on Fox, CNN, or MSNBC. Yeah, that's because we love us some Trump, and we don't like the Democrats because we think that they've lost their minds. All right, Ryan Fournier, guess who will be receiving armed service protection? Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Guess who doesn't believe you should be able to protect yourself? Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. Hypocrites. Yes, well, that's par for the course, isn't it? And let's look at this, because this is some good news if you ask me. And, well, you didn't, but kind of, because you're here on my channel, so I think I'll give my opinion. I think this was a good choice. Now, this is Donald J. Trump. I am pleased to announce that Congressman Mark Meadows will become White House Chief of Staff. I have long known and worked with Mark, and the relationship is a very good one. And here is Representative Jim Jordan adding his 2 cents. Mark Meadows is a smart, loyal, and true patriot. He's a good man and my best friend. Couldn't have picked anyone better for the job. And I agree with his sentiment that Donald Trump could not have picked a better person for the job. And I'll be looking forward to seeing what Mark Meadows will do. Okay, well, there's a few more here, but not too many. And I think I'm going to save those for the next video, but I am going to let you see this, because it is something that could, well, it's interesting. And I ran across this and I thought, you know, I know that some of my listeners are older, like myself, and so this could be useful. This was from October 2006, so it's old, but it's interesting. Vitamin C does a lot more than boost immunity and help battle infections. New studies show that high-dose vitamin C improves endothelial function, reduces heart attack risk, enhances cancer survivor, and promotes greater longevity. And they're saying that high doses of vitamin C, and I'm just kind of taking this and, you know, consolidating the information because it's getting, I don't want to go through all of this, but it's on Life Extension, www.lifeextension.com. And it's saying basically that taking higher doses of vitamin C can extend your life by 6 years. That is what the studies are showing. So I thought I would pass that along to you guys, because that's something very easy to add into your lifestyle, is taking a little extra vitamin C. However you do that is your choice, whether you want chewables or tablets or, you know, pills or capsules or whatever, or if you just want to eat more vitamin C producing fruit and stuff like that. Anyway, I was told in college never to say stuff like that. So I was surprised actually when that just came out of my mouth, because I can't even remember the last time I said that. But anyway, there you go. It goes beyond fighting the common cold and flu. And scientists have discovered that this potent antioxidant is crucial in supporting the health of cardiovascular system, kidneys, bones, respiratory system, and more. And it would be a good idea to, since it does strengthen your cardiovascular system, to take extra vitamin C in these times, because we know we want to stay as healthy as possible to be able to fight off anything that might come along. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Now, I think I'm going to call it a night on that particular, the news anyway, and I'm going to be back with the Glamis calling. And I do have another video ready on Corona, which is probably more like 2 additional videos, but I don't think I'll have time to get to those tonight. But I promised you I would bring the Somerset Balanoff, and that's what I'm doing. So once this is uploaded, you can, well, it'll probably take me an hour to record it, so you can look for it. All right. right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. And I'm so sorry about last night. I certainly didn't do it on purpose. And I didn't even know about it until the next morning when I woke up and I saw several people had emailed me and so forth. So, and some of you people are absolutely adorable. Like, seriously, I love you. I wish I could all have you all over for a meal. I'd cook a big pot of chili and, well, you wouldn't all fit in here, but, you know, we'd make do. But, yeah, I really wish I could, because I bet you I would really just love so many of you. I bet we'd all be friends. But what I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought there. Oh, what I was going to say is that I was looking and I thought, oh gosh, I only have a 90% approval rating on this video. And I looked and then I realized it didn't have sound and I thought, are you kidding me? 90% of people liked this and it didn't have sound? What? And I know it was you guys. So anyway, thank you for liking the video, although it had no sound, and I did pull it down today and we'll replace it with this. So, and I didn't get into the black rain, but perhaps we'll do that in the coronavirus video because that's what it had to do with. And yeah, that's it. So you guys have a great night. I am coming back. Unless the cats have chewed through something that I'm not aware of. And there you go. So you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth because, well, you know, who wants deception? Not me. Good night, guys.